Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. Just came in today to do a sorta kinda review on Basketball Wives LA Season 5, Episode 5. And the reason why I say sorta kinda is because I don't normally review this show. Even though I watch it, I don't normally review it. So what made me come in today is this whole entire dynamic between Brandy and Shaunie and the other ladies. And pretty much for this review, I'm just gonna talk about that dynamic and what I see is maybe the issue. So this episode opened up with like a sit down, and it's was a sit down that was being requested by all of the other ladies. Basically, they had been telling Brandy that she needed to sit down and apologize to Shaunie for what she said last season. I think it was on the one of the last shows of last season. And it's where she told Shaunie she was a bitch and that Shaunie acted like she was above the ladies. Now, so far, this entire season, the ladies have been going back and forth with Shaunie and Brandy about, sitting down to talk to each other. Now, from what I'm understanding, Shaunie said that Brandy did call her a million times and pretty much, apologize for the whole statement that she made. But what upset Shaunie was that after doing that, then Brandy went out and talked about how Shaunie wasn't the boss and that she couldn't fire her. And basically, Shaunie felt like Brandy was disrespecting her. Now, on Brandy's side, from what I'm understanding, Brandy is saying that she did apologize and basically exactly what Shaunie said. She's not her boss. She doesn't have the power to fire nor hire her. Now, the other ladies instigating this, I think, is what the problem is. Now, let me just backtrack a little bit. So we're back to last season where they're sitting down and it's one of those last shows, and Brandy says her little piece, and she gave her feelings on how she felt Shaunie was. Now, on the one hand, I understand where Brandy is coming from, but on the other hand, I also see where Shaunie is an executive producer. Now, here's where I think the problem is, and everybody has said this over and over. I'm not the first person to say this. When Shaunie gets into the mix with the other ladies, it blurs the lines of her authority. So let me just give an example. So say on, let's see, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and just say Mona was in the storyline with Mama D, Ernest, and Miss Charlene. It would be a little awkward. It would be a little weird because basically they could not be themselves. And say with Deb, Anthony, and all of them. And Mona was giving her opinion. She's in the storyline now. She's giving her opinion on the relationship between Mama D and Ernest. And she's telling Miss Charlene what she should do with Rashida in the store and Rashida's stepdaughter. And then with Deb Anthony, she's telling her, Waka ain't shit. He messed around on this girl several times, blah, blah, blah. So if Mona was doing that, then, what would happen is Mama D, Miss Charlene, and Deb Anthony would say, well, hold on. Your shit ain't right too. either. And so they would start firing back at her. Now, if they went through a whole season with Mona in the storylines with them, and just being part of the cast, then they would feel comfortable, chopping it up with Mona, even though Mona is the boss of the show, well, the executive producer. And I think that that's what happened here, because Shaunie is, with them, in the storyline, even though she's an executive producer, again, she blurs the lines. She's basically becoming part of the cast, but then when someone, and meaning that when she becomes part of the cast, she's commenting, she's telling her opinion on what she thinks the other girls are or are not. She's kind of, is acting a little uppity. Yet, when they fire back at her, that's when she wants to say, now hold up, I'm the boss. You can't talk to me like that. I just think that that's where it went wrong. Now, on Brandy's behalf, Brandy seems to be an outspoken person that just doesn't know when to let it go. After I had said my piece, because again, I can't say that Brandy was wrong for saying what she felt, but once she said it and she apologized, because Shaunie acknowledges Brandy did apologize, let it go. Brandy is a grown woman just like Shaunie is, and I don't care if someone is my boss, if they are talking to me or speaking to me all kinds of crazy, I'm not one for just letting someone talk to me any kind of way. Meaning they can tell me how they feel about me and my wrongs and how I'm not right and how I'm silly and I'm immature, but I'm just supposed to sit there and take it. So on that tip, I can kind of understand Brandy, because after a while, you just sitting there like, wait a minute, bitch, you a woman just like I am, and you're not going to sit up and talk to me any kind of way, and I just have to take it because you one of the people on the, that is responsible for my paycheck. Now, on the same token, once Brandy crosses that line, then if Shaunie gets in her feelings, then Shaunie can say, well, like she did, your services are no longer needed. And then a lot of people talk about when Shaunie said that, they said that she was pulling her EP privilege when she did that. And I had to think about that. And at first I was like, well, she is their boss. But then again, when you think about it, she was. Because all season long she had been talking about, and this is last season, how Malaysia and Brandy and that whole little young crew was immature, and that when they had the Miami show with Evelyn and Jennifer and all of them, that they were not as immature, although they were. Because let's keep it real, Evelyn running across tables and Tammy ready to, fight people and bullying people. She cannot sit up and act like that was the stellar cast. So in that whole situation with Brandy and Shaunie, it's kind of murky. I just feel like that if Shaunie wants to remain behind her title, then she has to come up out of that cast. I don't even know why, one of the executive producers is down in the, she said that Brandy was low on the totem pole. Why are you down in the dirt with them? Step back behind the camera and play your role then. Because I don't know if I could sit up and listen to her talk shit about me and I never say anything. That's bull. And I would have to, once I said my piece, deal with the fact that me speaking my mind as a grown woman might get me fired. Now, on this show, after they had that sit down and all of that, which I think is so silly. And I think the other women should have minded their business, because once Shaunie told me, I'm good with Brandy, you know, we had our little thing, is over. And once Brandy had said, I'm good with Shaunie, I don't want to talk about it anymore, we had our little thing and it's over, I wouldn't have kept beating that, you know. But I guess they had to do that for the show. Now, Malaysia decides to, you know, schedule this little ski trip with all of the ladies. Y'all, I don't know why they be trying to go on vacations together. They know they can't stand each other. And so when they get there, um, it is Malaysia, Brandy, Duffy, Jackie, and they all, you know, race off to find a room. Jackie ends up in this room with the, looks like a queen or king size bed, and it has some bunk beds in it. And then the two angels show up, and they are left to have a room with Jackie's crazy ass. And they're in the bunk beds. They're not feeling it. I think Jackie decides to give them the bed, and she'll take one of the bunk beds, which, child, I think that's crazy. I wouldn't be sleeping with no other woman. I would have just got my short ass in one of those bunk beds and called it a night. It's not like you're about to live there. You're only going to be there for a few days. These bitches, it's too much. But anyway, they all, you know, eventually figure out the room situation and decide to cook. And Shaunie and Tammy are on the way. Now, they eventually sit down, and eventually Shaunie and Tammy show up. You know, they all sit down, and it seems to be going a little okay. You know, the drinks start flowing. One of those little angels, the black one, says that, you know, she felt like her drink was spiked, or, you know, I don't even know. I think she just is not used to drinking liquor, and maybe that's what it is. You know, it hits her so fast because she's not used to drinking it. And then I think that while they're there, you know, Brandy asks Shaunie, are we good? And they decide to step out. And Brandy, I guess, says again, you know, I thought when we sat down, which I thought what Brandy said was true, they should have just sat down by themselves without the other ladies around, where they could just really hash it out without comments from the peanut gallery. So, you know, they sit and talk about it again, and I really don't think Shaunie was feeling it. Shaunie was just like, I'm over it, let me just agree to whatever, and let's just get past this. Because I think pretty much Shaunie, you know, she is playing, and y'all, I'm just gonna step out on the limb here. Shaunie knows her position, and don't believe for a second that she is not pulling that, not I'm above you, but she knows that she brought this show together. Now, we don't know whether Shaunie has the right or not to fire people, but she knows that if she's not happy with someone, then she can make her feelings known, and I'm pretty sure that person would disappear. So Shaunie and Brandy again, you know, they settle it some kind of way. The dust settles a little bit. They hug it out and go back in. Now, in the meantime, Jackie and the two angels are up in the room, and they're discussing the whole thing about when Malaysia rolled up to Angel, I think, I can't think of these broads' initials. I'm just going to say the white one and the black one, because I don't know the initials. I don't even pay attention that much. But Angel, the white ones, or whatever nationality or race she is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that way, but I haven't paid attention enough to know the initials. But when she rolled up to that event with her sweats on and her no makeup and her hair brushed back and all that, and Angel felt some kind of way because she felt like Malaysia had pretty much, I guess, crashed her event and spoiled it, which the event was kind of crashed before then, with the lady still telling Brandy that she needed to sit down with Shaunie, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, Tammy giving her opinion and all that. So, you know, they were in the room talking about that, and Duffy walks in, and she asks the little Angel, did you feel some type of way? And Angel says yes. So she said, well, let's just squash it. Let me run down and get Malaysia, and y'all just talk it out. Now the little Angel really didn't want to talk about it then, and I'm pretty sure she didn't want to talk about it at all. She was kind of pushed into doing it. But Malaysia comes upstairs. Malaysia tells her, I did not come there to ruin your event. I came there because I thought my girl was in trouble, and if I caused any problems, I'm sorry. She apologized. End of story. But no, the Black Angel, as I said, she had had a little liquor and she didn't let it go. And she was saying that just starting shit, which I thought was pretty unnecessary, because basically whether Malaysia came there to destroy the other angel's event or not, she apologized. Whether we thought that Brandy should have called Malaysia for backup, Malaysia said, I apologize. So I don't even know why the other angel was, going off about it. Let it go. Even if it's just a shaky piece, there is peace right now. The other angels seem to accept Malaysia's apology and realize, well, no, Malaysia didn't come necessarily to destroy my event. All she heard was that Brandy might need help, and she was rushing there to, I guess, help Brandy, which I think that is, child, these are the high school acting women, all of them, Shaunie, all of them. Tammy, and y'all, I still don't like Tammy. I just, ever since that bullying that she did to that girl seasons ago, I haven't been right with Tammy ever since then. Tammy also sits up on a little judgmental high horse too, and like everybody has to go through her Tammy school of, I don't accept new bitches. Man, if this ain't some high school shit, because y'all, all of these are grown women with kids. If I walked into a group of new women and they wasn't feeling me or didn't want to be bothered with me, I wouldn't give a fuck. And if I was the only other end and I am within the group and the new woman comes in, I'm not going to give her hell until she passes some initiation before I like or dislike her. When she comes in, I welcome her until she did something to me, or, I wouldn't have a problem with her. All this back and forth, and you got to jump through this hoop and that hoop. And I know a lot of this is to bring the drama on the show, but after a while, you want to say, move on from this silly crap. Now, we see next week this big old argument with Malaysia. Well, Malaysia was out of it once she apologized. It's the two angels now, because the white angel is saying, from what I can see from the clips, it was squashed. Why did you jump in and insert yourself when Malaysia came in and did apologize? Which I didn't think Malaysia was going to apologize. I thought Malaysia was just going to simply say, look, I was coming to defend my friend, end of story. You know how they are, Malaysia and Brandy are there down for each other. I thought she was just going to say that, being a bitch and being bougie, and just leave it alone. It never dawned on me that Malaysia was going to apologize. I was shocked, because we know Malaysia does not like Angel. Over the whole dress thing and her saying that she looked like a sexed up Power Ranger, and Angel feeling like Malaysia was being very disrespectful to her. So I'm looking forward to next week's show. Again, this whole thing with Brandy and Shaunie, I think the lines are blurred. And again, think about if Mona was putting herself on Love and Hip Hop in every scene. It's kind of weird. So they are in a kind of precarious position. They can only say so much. Basically, they can't be themselves because Shaunie is part of the cast. So I don't know. I got mixed feelings about that. Like I said, I can kind of see Shaunie's point, but then again, if you don't want them to say anything to you, then don't be down in the gutter with them. People will say, oh, but Shaunie is still the boss, but then act like the boss. Act like the boss. Don't be down there criticizing them and don't think that they're not going to strike back. That's all I'm saying. Y'all, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed my little review. Again, I don't normally do this, but that whole thing with Shaunie and Brandy, that was kind of bothering me. Y'all have a great one, and again, thanks for watching my video. Take care now.